is BC Pork, and this is Good Morning Crypto. Let's run it. Good morning to the streets, to the charts, to the grind. I ain't sipping no latte, I'm sipping on time. Woke up with the market in a headlock grip. See the wick break out, that's my exit flip. Digital hustle, I don't sleep much. Cold wallet thick like it just did crunch. Fiat crashing, I just laugh in the mirror. Good morning truth, now the picture get clearer. Yeah, I'm up before sunrise, no snooze on my plays. Whales still dreaming, I'm setting my trays. I ain't here for likes, I ain't here for clout. I'm here for that check when the trend breaks out. I spit blocks, hash rates, having dates. Got alpha in my veins, no time for fakes. SEC lurking, but I move like a ghost. Mixing TA and game, call me the host. This my show, this my tone, this my throne. Good morning crypto, I stand alone. Good morning to the streets, to the charts, to the grind. I ain't sipping no latte, I'm sipping on time. Woke up with the market in a headlock grip. See the wick break out, that's my exit flip. Digital hustle, I don't sleep much. Cold wallet thick like it just did crunch. Fiat crashing, I just laugh in the mirror. Good morning truth, now the picture get clearer. Perpetual swinging, I'm a beast with the size. TA tight like the laces I tie. MACD crossing, I'm pressing that go. And my fib line stretching like it's crypto dope. Ain't no banker ever taught me this wealth. I learned from red days, had to fight for myself. Now I'm dropping fire before the coffee drip. Crypto cooking on its breakfast shift. Every candle's a warning, every flash a test. But I lace up my plays and I trade like the best. When rooms made for legends, not snoozers and sheep. This for the wolves who watch charts while they eat. This for the ones who said crypto's a scam. Now I'm paying my bills with a cold wallet jam. Salute to the grinder, salute to the bold. Good morning to those who ain't buying what they sold. Good morning to the streets, to the charts, to the grind. I ain't sipping no latte, I'm sipping on time. Woke up with the market in a headlock grip. See the wick break out, that's my exit flip. Digital hustle, I don't sleep much. Cold wallet thick like it just did crunch. Fiat crashing, I just laugh in the mirror. Good morning truth, now the picture get clearer. Wake up, read the charts, read the game, then run it. Good morning crypto, pour corp out. Wake up, read the charts, read the game, then run it. Good morning crypto, pour corp out.
Step one, wake up. Step one, wake up early, gonna ride the sun. Step two, holding you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Looking like everything's okay with the YouTube today, so hopefully it keeps on keeping on, not having any issues. So looks like we got it all figured out, but we do have some news to go over. I did try to tease some news for AVAX on my last stream. Didn't get through that article, so we'll touch a little bit on that and what we're seeing on some AVAX DeFi volume, along with AVAX massive move towards the downside. I also have some other news coming out of Qualcomm. I do own the stock. I've talked about them before. I know Kellophant has brought up a few stocks that are in that tech side. I kind of favor micro technology. It is the big wave of the future. You can't really get bigger leaps forward until you are able to get bigger leaps in your micro technology. So we'll dive on into some of that news as well. But before we get to all of that, let's dive on in and get you prepped for some success today with that stock heat map. Because I got it pulled up in the background. All right, we're seeing a little bit of some movements this morning. Nothing too crazy. We did get a little bit of some green on a few of these stocks. Apple, Nvidia, and ExxonMobil all sitting in the green, but everything else sitting red across the board. We are seeing Apple with a little bit of sell-off this morning, down 0.4. We've got Nvidia sitting down 0.78. Berkshire Hathaway seeing a little bit of buying pressure this morning, up 0.26. We've got Amazon also up 0.26 this morning. Eli Lilly up almost 2% right now. It is seeing a slight pullback in the pre-market, but sitting up 1.92. We've got ExxonMobil up 0.18. We've got Tesla down 0.65. We've got P&G up 0.05. Microsoft sitting up 0.55. Google up 0.4. And Meta sitting down 0.09. But let's hop over to the crypto side of things, because that's where we're seeing a lot of movements right now. I did tell you that AVAX was sitting down, getting a little bit of pullback. It's sitting down 9.1% right now. We're pretty much red across the board. And Bitcoin kind of led the markets yesterday. We do have Bitcoin down 2%. We've got Ethereum down 3%, XRP down 2.9, BNB down 4.9. We've got Solana down 4.3, Doge down 3.4. We've got Tron looking very, very neutral. Eric Wallen saying alt season is done. Wrap it up. Hey, I wouldn't be angry about that. I've been saying this season is a little bit different, and we might have to talk about that a little bit this weekend. I didn't get to go live on my channel, but I've got a lot to talk about, so might be doing a live this weekend. We've got Cardano down 2.1, Chainlink down 3.7. We've got Avalanche down 9.1, Hyperliquid down 2.4, Stellar Lumens down 2.5, Sweet down 2.6. We've got Bitcoin Cash down a full percent right now, HBAR down 2.8. We've got Leo token sitting with no change on the board, not too unexpected as it is that exchange token, and Litecoin down 2.2. For the stock market, we are back to neutral. We were sitting in some light greed. We have been getting a little bit of some pullback after we've seen some continued sell-off over there. We do have the crypto side of things sitting very, very heavily in fear right now. I don't think we're deep enough in that fear, though. I think we have a little bit further to go. 16 points to the downside and some fear is not fearful enough for me. I do think there might be a little more room to the downside on the fear and greeds. And we talked about some lower points on the Bitcoin chart as well. But before we get on to that, let's take a look at that liquidity here. On the 24-hour, we've got plenty of liquidity directly above us and directly below us. Not too unexpected, as we have been ranging quite heavily here. We do have that liquidity directly above us, sitting at 110,200, and directly below us at 108,500. So those are those two areas to kind of keep your eye on today. We do have that 3-day with quite a bit of liquidity directly below us, and that's that move I'd kind of keep my eye on if we do get some strong moves towards the downside. That's very, very close to one of those areas I had talked about. Would like to see us get a little bit lower than that, and that would really complete an ABC correction towards the downside. I know we talked about that one at the beginning of the week, if I'm not mistaken, or was teased at the end of last week. So we have been talking about downside potential. I guess the 2 week does not want to show on up there. So let's hop on over to our economic calendar. If I got this one pulled up on the right one, I do not. Let's get back over to this week. We are seeing a little bit more data coming out for the end of the week. We've got our core PCE price index to really keep our eye on today. That will be our massive market mover, along with personal income month over month and personal spending month over month. I will be keeping my eyes on that because personal income has been coming down. It's been coming down for quite a while our personal spending has been remaining the same. This is a key point when we're talking about how the economy is doing. Because if your personal spending is coming down, but if your personal spending is staying the same, but your personal income is coming down, then that's also another pressure on top of the inflation pressures that have been remaining extremely sticky. That causes inflation to feel a lot harsher than would typically be if your wages are growing with inflation. So another metric to kind of keep your eye on this morning, that core PCE price index is going to be the biggest market mover today, though. We are looking like we're coming down 0.1%, so kind of good on the month over month, but not looking too good on that year over year. We are remaining steady at almost 3% there, and that is well above all targets that the Fed would like to see, which is why you've been seeing a lot of these Fed chairs very, very quickly switch their stance from looking for a rate cut in October to not looking for any rate cuts the rest of the year, and saying that our policy stance is moderately restrictive in case these inflation pressures start ticking back towards the upside and it looks like we might have to hike. So keep that in mind. Watch our data drop today. We do have Fed Barkin speaking as well. That'll be coming out at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And we have Fed Bowman speaking this afternoon at 1. Fed Musolium speaking at 1:30, and Fed Bostic speaking at 6 p.m. Keep your eyes on all of those as well. We should be getting a little more data coming from them. I think it'll all start aligning a little more with no rate cuts for our next FOMC. But let's pull up that Bitcoin chart. We got it on the daily. Let's say good morning to all the people in the chat right now. We've got, looks like 18 people watching and a few lurkers. So we've got Jesse Gluck first in the chat, like normal. He's saying he won't be able to chat much because he's driving. Well, drive safe and don't chat and drive, Jesse. That's not safe there. So focus on your driving, and then when you get home, we will see it in the chats. We got Dylan VA in here as well, saying hi all and have a good day. Hope you're having a great day, Dylan VA. I know you're a little further into your day than I am, so hopefully everything's been going great. We've got Jay in the chat saying good morning to everyone. Good morning to you. We got Buck in here. Oh my goodness. Isn't it like super early for you, sir? I don't know what you're doing up this early, but hope you're having a great morning so far. We got Eric Wallen in here as well. He said, let's go. And alt season is done and wrap it up. So definitely something that a lot of people won't be happy to hear, especially since all over YouTube, they've been talking about alt season the entire time. Retail's not here. We need our alt season because I threw thousands of dollars on XY poop coin and I need them to pump my bags. Well, retail's been here and they just haven't liked how retail has been here. And I dropped an article a while ago saying that we would need new ETFs on coins outside of your 1 and 2 to really get any kind of alt season to pump our other alts. You saw Ethereum got its massive pump through the ETF. not through traditional buying through your normal exchanges. So this cycle has been different. Just no one wants to actually take a look at the data and realize how it's actually been different. So we got Curtis Hill in here as well, and Caliphant sliding on in here a little bit late, but still made it. We'll be talking about something you've brought up before. We talked about some tech stocks, and I've got some big news coming out of Qualcomm. We've also got Iko in here. Good morning, good morning. He said, good morning to all the Piper alumni. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. Well, it's definitely going to be a wonderful day if we can hold some key levels here on the Bitcoin chart. If not, we do have some areas of interest to me, and some areas that might be a little bit painful, so we'll kind of have to keep our eyes out for that. We are trying to hold that 108-200 area, which is where we got some of our last bouncing actions off of before, and we've been seeing a little bit of buying pressure coming on in. The daily still looks like you might have a little more downside that could come our way. If you zoom this on out to that weekly, definitely have a little more downside there as well. But the little bit of hopium, I will say, on the weekly that has been heading our way is a little bit of sideways momentum, both here on the MACD and that prime oscillator. It's not pointed as heavily to the downside as it has been, so that is definitely something I will be keeping my eye on, watching that shorter time frame money flow, see if it can at least bleed over a little bit into our higher term time frame money flow. Probably not the weekly. The weekly money flow has been remaining red and only really gets into the green when we're seeing those massive moves towards the upside. So watch that daily money flow. See if we can at least get some nice moves back towards the green, because we have been in the red for quite a while. Let's get that back to our daily chart here, though. The daily does have a little more room to come towards the downside here, as that MACD is still pointing very harshly to the downside as we've broken below that zero line, and we continue to print some bigger red candles here on the histogram, and that money flow staying in the red as well, as volume's starting to come on down a little bit. Volume coming on down, not too unexpected. That does look like a lot of people are starting to sit on the sidelines here and really wait for their entry points. I do have 106-100 being an area of some interest for me. That is our old point of control for this range before we got that last all-time high up here at $124,000. So an area I would look for price to try to hold, and if we can't, we do have some levels below there. We talked about it before. That's at $101,000 to $97,500. This is an old fair value gap, which we left open, and it is an area of interest to me. So let's get that over to the 4-hour chart here. We're starting to see a little bit of sideways momentum coming on in on that price action, as we've been consolidating just a little bit here. On my old fib extension levels, we are directly below the 50% there. We did hold the golden pocket up here quite nicely, and then got that harsh pullback towards the 50. We're not able to hold that, and that's something I will be keeping my eye on. Might have to get that drawn back out for you, and share that in the Discord. So if you are in the Discord, keep your eyes out for that chart, because I'll be dropping that. I did drop my chart yesterday as soon as we started losing that 111,800. I warned y'all, if we lost that 111,800, we'd have some harsh moves towards the downside, and that's exactly what we got. So definitely going to be keeping my eye on our current range. We do have a massive fair value gap here on the 4-hour to kind of keep our eyes on. We're trying to pull into it right now. I'll get that drawn up real quick, and then I'll get it removed off the chart, because it does have a few areas to kind of keep your eye on for a push towards the upside here. Nothing too drastic to kind of like price movement wise towards the upside, but 110,200, which is right where we're seeing all of that liquidity as well. So definitely a few areas to kind of keep your eye on. That would be that area to watch for some resistance on. Let's get this over to that 1 hour. 1 hour looking like it's seeing a little bit of some movements towards the upside here on these oscillators, but not seeing any movements on that price towards the upside here. We're making some higher lows, but we've got very, very strong resistance above us at $110,000. So definitely an area to kind of keep your eye on this morning. See if we can continue to bounce up against that $110,000. Maybe cool off the oscillators just a little bit before we try to make our way a little bit higher and grab that topside liquidity. We do have those data drops this morning. If they don't come out too favorably, that would be where I'd start looking more towards the downside there. Odds are there really is an XY poop coin with all the coins out there, says Jay. I wouldn't put it past someone, that they've been dropping all these coins left and right and left and right. I've been getting a lot of ads on my browser and on YouTube about Moonshot, which is talking about being able to make these meme coins with just like 3 clicks of a button, and that's why your alt cycle is extremely broken here. So definitely something I've been interested in is a flight to quality, which we have been seeing. So let's take a look at this 15-minute here and see what the morning might be bringing our way. And this is where you really see a little bit of some downside potentials if we can't get above $110,000 here. You're seeing some heavy curvature here on the MACD as we barely broke above that 0 line. Prime oscillator not getting some reversal signals flashing just yet, as we do have some positive money flow here on the short-term time frame, but your volume's starting to slow down just a little bit here. So definitely something to keep your eye on. If we can't get above our current range of $110,000, you might have a little bit of a move towards the downside, especially with the data drops coming out this morning. I am favoring the downside on the macro, but you could get that move back up to 110,200 first before you start seeing some continued downside there. We got Ada Ace in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. Let me get your channel shared in the chats there. If you're not following Ada Ace, you definitely should be. He does some amazing videos on some projects in the ADA ecosystem. So let me get that shared out on X as well. Definitely should be following Ada Ace. And if you like playing the DeFi game, this man will teach you how to DeFi on the ADA ecosystem. It's a little bit too complicated sometimes for me, and I've been in the space for a while, but that's definitely something I've been looking at getting into this bear cycle. So definitely going to be hitting you up this bear cycle, Ada Ace, and when everything's at its bottoms, I'm going to be looking at making some money with ADA and the DeFi ecosystem. I've just been focused too much on a whole lot of other things, and it's a little bit of a big venture. So if you haven't followed Ada Ace, it definitely should be. I did have some data coming out of Qualcomm. Screw these ads. There we go. Qualcomm has a yearly convention, which is the Snapdragon Summit. This is a very big summit for microtechnology, and they're talking about the new 6G that'll be coming out in 2028. So not too far off now. We are pretty close to the end of 2025. So 2 years away from 6G, some faster internet speeds, and we'll kind of have to see if we can extend the distance on some 6G ranges, because 5G has been struggling just a little bit on how far it can actually reach from the point that it's projected from. They also paired with Google to come out with some new AI technology. This will be in all of their new devices, and they just talked about their new chip as well. So Qualcomm doing some big things, not only in the data sector, but also with AI, and they're pairing with Google and Gemini. And we'll be seeing some more news coming out of this. Recently, the the Google AI leader came out on stage and was talking about this as well. So AI is the new user interface, and this is that big news that I was watching for from Qualcomm. Definitely own their stock, and definitely happy about this one, because as we've seen technology progress, user interfaces have changed quite heavily, but to have AI be the main stage of your user interface is some massive news. And pairing with Google to do that on most of your devices now will be a massive move for both Gemini and for Qualcomm. They also came out with a new laptop. That's the same article there. Let me get there. There we go. Qualcomm new Snapdragon X2 chip offers legendary leaps in performance. And this is something that they teased with a prototype of a brand new laptop. It literally just looks like a CD disc. It has no need for massive fans for cooling. It is a massive leap in technology to be able to fit an entire computer in the size of like an old CD. So definitely watching for some bigger moves coming out of there. This is the fastest that they've made so far. They're also looking to jump into the battery game. So some big leaps forward for Qualcomm if these things keep progressing the way that they are. This is the leader in microtechnology, and NVIDIA actually uses quite a bit of their technology as well. So definitely happy about this one. Some moves in the Qualcomm stock are definitely expected, but Avalanche here, getting those heavy moves towards the downside. We did tease that in those crypto bubbles and at the beginning of the show, and I'm watching this continue to unfold. We'll get to that AVAX chart here in just a second, but I talked about Scaramucci talking about an AVAX treasury, and they did start along that path, and we've been seeing a lot of volume in AVAX dexes. Let's dive on into this here. Avalanche's price has remained resilient in recent weeks, trading around $33.70 and consolidated near the $35 level. This comes even as the broader crypto market faced downward pressure following the U.S. Federal Reserve's September 18th rate cut, which capped Bitcoin below $115,000 and Ethereum under 4,200. On-chain data indicates that AVAX strength is closely tied to the growing DeFi activity on the Avalanche network. According to DeFi Llama, Avalanche's DEX volumes have surged to 1.3 billion in intraday on September 24th, surpassing the previous 2025 peak of 1.18 billion set just a day earlier. This suggests that investors are rotating capital within the ecosystem to pursue yield opportunities rather than exiting to fiat or other blockchains. And that's something that ADA loves to do on the ADA ecosystem. So this has definitely been a little bit of a bigger move in ecosystems. There's a lot of projects built on these layer ones, and to try to chase a little bit of some yield in a different way than we've seen in previous cycles has definitely been the move we've watched a lot of people do. You sink your teeth into an ecosystem and you don't move outside of that ecosystem. You just look at acquiring more of that base token of the ecosystem. So AVAX, no different there, and the DEX volumes surge signals investor rotation, which is what we've been seeing quite a bit in the Bitcoin to alts as well. It has just been a little bit different than other cycles here. I'm not going to dive too much further into that article. There was a bunch of the same stuff regurgitated over and over, and I would like to get to that AVAX chart here because it did see a massive move towards the downside. Let me get it on my list there. Yep, losing that $30 level. We did talk about the golden pocket here, was hoping the price could hold up at that area. That was $30.40. We did a little bit of some battle in that range before we lost it and then came back to an old fair value gap here. Getting this pulled up on the daily, you can see where that fair value gap was pulled from. It was that massive move through our golden pocket that pushed us down towards the platinum pocket there. We did get back up towards the top side of that golden pocket, ended up closing out that fair value gap, rejected off of the bottom side of another old fair value gap from way back here at the 50% line, and then really started losing price all over again. We are sitting directly below an old fair value gap here, and we are seeing a little bit of some worry here on the higher term time frame. Let's get this moved on over so you can see those oscillators a little bit better. And we do have some price points to kind of keep our eye on here, as we are seeing that MACD gain some momentum as it drops below that indicator line, and prime oscillator also doing the same thing. We are losing a little bit of volume here on the higher time frame, looking like people are looking for that lower entry here on AVAX. The first one I would kind of keep my eye on here is going to be $26.30. We do have this fair value gap here that we are testing on the midline of, and if we lose that, we could definitely come a little bit lower on that price. Taking a look at this 1 hour here, 1 hour seeing a little bit of some hopium. If we can see some money flow, that's that big if there. We would need to see a little bit of some money flow and not see this MACD and prime oscillator continue to roll over here. We are getting a little bit of curvature there, and that prime oscillator remaining very, very close to the bottom, as we do see this continued sell-off after we lost $34.50. I did have a few areas I was keeping my eye on. We did not hold any of those levels, and we got that harsh drop back towards that golden pocket, did some quick action on the golden pocket, trying to hold that area, and then really lost that with some strength there. You can see that golden pocket held up twice before it lost with some quickness, and we do have those areas directly below us to kind of keep our eye on. First one coming in at about 27.14. That's where we saw a little bit of resistance before we got that retest on 26.30. If we don't hold that, coming all the way back to 26.30 would be an area of interest for me. We do have that 15-minute and the morning continuing to look a little bit poopy, as we are getting that rollover on the prime oscillator. It had come with a reversal signal, and that MACD's remaining below our zero line here and really struggling to get back up towards it. So definitely could have some continued downside. We are trying to hold that midline of that fair value gap from the move up, and if we lose that midline, coming all the way back down is not too unexpected there. We're seeing some continued downside pressures across the board, so keep your eyes out on AVAX and some lower entry points. Do we got any alt requests to take a look at this morning? Because I got about 15 minutes here before we're going to send you over to the morning motivational video with Crypto Billy. So I got a few minutes. We might take a look at entering a trade together as well. I missed the AVAX trade on Wednesday after after the live stream went on a fritz. So if we got any moves to take together on a trade, keep those in mind and drop those in the chat. So we'll try to stick with those bigger projects there, and that's what we would preferably like to take a trade on. But I do see a few requests from A to Ace. If we got some requests to take a trade on together, I will get that poll in the chat as well. See if we want to go long or if we want to go short. So drop those bigger alts in the chat. that you would like to see us take a trade on. We got long and short, and I'm starting that poll, and you let me know where we'd like to go. Let's see what we got. We got Caliphant asking for ETH. We had Ada Ace asking for a few projects as well. He said World Mobile Token, Copy, or Ada. Well, we will start with Ada there and go to Ethereum. Jesse also asking for Ada, so definitely gonna do some on Ada. I'm assuming that's also what y'all were looking for a trade as well. So Ada and Ethereum for a potential trade. We have Bitcoin for a potential trade as well. And let's get a few of those alts on there. We got WMTX. WMTX, assuming that's World Mobile Token. And if no one else asks for a request, then we can look at Copy as well. It's been a little while since I've looked at either of those, so maybe something's going on over there and you're looking for it. Ethereum to 0, says Jesse. Hey, sir, I agree with the heart on sentiment, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, since Ethereum is number 2 in the space and has so much built on it that that those alts built on top of Ethereum as well will kind of hamper Ethereum from going to fully 0. But you know, I hate the Ethereum Foundation. I dislike Vitalik Buterin and his lead of that of Ethereum as well. So I like the sentiment. Caliphant saying boo Ada. Oh my goodness. Y'all just going back and forth on it. All right, let's see what we got going on some Ethereum here. We did get that pullback to our golden pocket fib extension here. We're trying to hold that. This is coming as some resistance before, and we got that nice little pullback towards the golden pocket fib extension. As you can see here, we haven't done a whole lot on that golden pocket fib extension. To try to hold that as some support this time would be a nice little point of support here. We did see it come in as some resistance before, resistance before, resistance before, and resistance before. We got that nice move up to our platinum pocket fib extension, and when we were unable to hold that, really got the strong move back towards our golden pocket fib extension here. So let's get this zoomed on in a little bit so you can see that price action a little bit better here. We're looking a little bottomy here on our oscillators. We got that prime oscillator looking very, very close to the bottom and starting to get a little bit of sideways momentum here, and that money flow is trying to maintain in the green here on the daily time frame. We are waiting for some sideways momentum to come in here on the MACD, as we are continuing to print these bigger red candles here on the histogram. If we cannot hold our golden pocket fib extension here, I do have a level marked out below us, and that's coming in at $3,720. So that's a very key area of interest for me on Ethereum. If we cannot maintain this golden pocket fib extension, it does look a little weak here, as you're seeing a little bit of a dip below it and a massive selling wick on this candle, pushing us back towards that golden pocket fib extension. So could be an area where we do a little bit of sideways consolidation on for a little until we get that strong move to the downside off of a data drop. So that would be that area I would keep my eye on for now. And if we don't hold it with our data drop this morning, coming back to $3,720. We do have some resistance above us at $4,072. That's where we got that nice pushback up to before we really drop back down towards the golden pocket there. So that's our level to the top side. If we get that move back up and continue to make these higher lows here, if not, then coming back down to 3,720 would be that area to watch, especially with how toppy this hourly is looking as well. That 3,700 is that area I would kind of lean towards. Money flows heavily in the red here on the hourly. Your volume's been maintaining quite nicely here, so with that volume maintaining quite nicely and that money flow very, very heavily in the red here, it does look like most of your volume is selling volume. Let's take a look at the 15-minute in the morning, see what we're looking for. And we might be looking for a little bit of a bounce in the morning to our data drop before we get that harsher move towards the downside here. Our local resistance is just about $4,000 here. That's where we've got all of our rejections from this morning to the golden pocket. So everything looking a little bit similar in that consolidation this morning. We did have ADA requested as well. And then I saw SWI. So let's take a look at SWI as well for a potential trade. And then we'll dive into those ADA ecosystem plays for ADA Ace there. Ooh, losing that 76-cent range. A lot of these projects getting that pullback to some key levels here. Daily is looking a little more bottomy than the rest of the market. It is seeing that continued downside movements here on the MACD, but that prime oscillator coming in with a little bit of sideways momentum here. So I would like to see us get above 76 cents before we get that stronger move towards the upside. Let's get rid of these short-term time frame areas, because we're not watching for those towards the upside anymore. That area to watch for towards the upside would be that 80-cent range all over again. So let's get this zoomed on in here. Take a look at that 1 hour and see what the day might be bringing our way here. We are seeing a little bit of topping action here on that MACD as we're trying to hold that 76-cent range. This has been that area where we got some bouncing from before. We are making those higher lows just like everything else here, and we've got some strong resistance at 78 cents that we would need to get above. So let's get that short-term time frame horizontal ray drawn out. That's coming in at 78 cents, and that'll be that area to really break above if we want to continue towards the upside and get back to 80 cents. We are seeing a lot of toppiness here on those hourly price points. Let's see if that 15-minute can give us a little bit of hopium this morning. Looking very bottomy, not seeing any reversal signals really starting to flash just yet. That MACD's pointing directly towards the downside as we lost that zero line there. So could definitely get a little bit of some bouncing action if we can't get back above 76 cents. We do have some areas directly below us. Let's get that zoomed on out, see what we'd look for some bottoms all the way back down here at about 74 cents might be an area of interest to see price get some holding up at. If not, 72.80. So that'd be that next little area of interest there. That'd be the more likely price point with how bearish some of those other areas we're looking. 4 hour does have a little bit of some hopium though, but definitely an area I would look for first. 72 cents. See if we can hold price up there. All right, let's take a quick look at SWI and see if we can take a trade on one of those. So we got 62% long now. Let's see how many votes we got. We've got 8 votes. So I'll give y'all another second to get that vote in on what direction we want to take a trade on. And then we'll decide what asset while we take a look at World Mobile Token. We did get that pullback to $3.17, and then we dropped below it here. This this 1 day still has a little bit of downside momentum to go. We do have this golden pocket directly below us. That's coming in at $3.17. $2.05. If we can't maintain that, coming back to about $2.92 would be an area to kind of keep your eye on. If we don't hold that one, $2.78 looks extremely interesting. I don't know if we get that low though, so that first area for me would be about $2.91 there. Let's get this zoomed on in, take a look at this hourly and what the day might be bringing our way. Looking just as toppy as everything else has been. Isn't making those higher lows like everything else was, so definitely looking like you could have some continued downside potential on SWI. Could be seeing a little bit of some bouncing off of that golden pocket though. That'd be that first area I would kind of keep my eye on for now if we're going to take a long trade on that. Definitely looking like a little bit of a short-term time frame bouncing zone with how that MACD is getting at. Move towards the downside here, and we're really waiting on some bottoming signals here on that prime oscillator. We are seeing a little bit of some low volume, really waiting for those reversal signals to start flashing. $3.05 would be that area of some interest there. Let's see, we got 9 votes, 55% long there. So I guess we're trying to take a long this morning. I will make sure that that is more of a shorter time frame trade. If we do get some continuation off of our data drop this morning, I would hold that a little bit longer, see if we can get back up to some of those higher levels. We do have some resistance directly above us at about 324, so that's probably going to be that secondary take profit on SWI. So let me get and pull and get those up here on the poll. Bitcoin, we've got SWI, we've got Ethereum, and we've got ADA. So y'all let me know which one we'd like to take a trade on, and I'll get that at the end of the show there. We got 3 minutes. Let's take a look at World Mobile Token. WMTX. All right, World Mobile Token on Kraken. I'm assuming that wouldn't have a whole lot of history. We'll go off of the whole one. Looking like that 236 on an extension is a little bit of some resistance there. Let's get this pulled up on a higher term time frame there. A little bit battered down, but we're doing some battle with that 236 here. Let's see what we got for a local fib and see what we would be going off of there. So pretty much same thing. The 236 is our resistance there. So lines up quite nicely with that fib extension level. We do have some areas of interest directly above us. If we can get back above that 236, we're making some lower lows here and some lower highs. So an area directly towards the bottom side would be about 19 cents there. That'd be my first little bouncing area to kind of keep my eye on. We got a lot of bounces off of that, so let's get that a little bit thicker. 19, almost 20 cents there would be that first area of interest for me on World Mobile Token. If we continue to the downside there, we're seeing a little bit of some topping signals on the daily prime oscillator and MACD, but it is getting a little bit of sideways momentum on the MACD as we're starting to print some smaller red candles on the histogram. So might be a little bit of a better move for a long if we can get some nice little bouncing actions. We're holding up 20 cents quite nicely. Potential for a liquidity sweep towards the downside and then continuing on up towards the upside there. Let's see what we're looking like on the 4 hour. 4 hour does have a little more downside that it could do. Let's see on that 1 hour and what the day might be bringing our way here. Daily is below our zero line here. We're printing those light green candles on the histogram. Let's get that zoomed on in a little bit better there. As you can see, that 236 is our strong resistance for now. If we can get that move back towards the upside on a shorter term time frame, we've got some resistance at about 23 cents to kind of keep our eye on. That'd be that first little move towards the upside I would watch for. That is a short-term time frame one. There we go. So we've got some nice support back at 19 cents that I would keep my eye on for a little bouncing range. And if we don't hold it, it doesn't look too pretty because there's not a whole lot of hold up below that. So next little area of hold up would be about 18.5 cents. So World Mobile Token looking a little bit better on those higher term time frames than some of those other projects, but the short term time frame does show pretty much the same thing as everything else. A little bit of upside potential is likely, and we've got direct resistance directly above us at 23.5 cents there. So let's see, 43% on Bitcoin. Let's see. And 29% on ADA was that number 2. Well, I guess I will get that trade set up on Bitcoin. But you know what time it is. It's time to head over to that morning motivational video. So I'll get that trade set up after the show ends, and then I'll drop that in the Discord there. We were looking for a long, so Bitcoin trying to get above that $110,000 mark. Looking like we're trying to make that higher low right now. Might not be a terrible time for an entry point if we can see that shorter time frame money flow coming on in. Might look a little bit lower. Set a limit order directly below us there, and then try to get that bouncing action off of that morning move back towards the upside there. So $110,000 looking like our strong resistance for that Bitcoin trade. Make sure to tune into the rest of the shows here on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. That's the place to be. You will get the breakdown of today's data. And we've got Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Hopefully he is back today. And until next time, I will see you in the chats. Make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.